Okay. Hi. I'm totally excited to do this. I literally downloaded PowerPoint on Monday and have never done anything like this before because I'm a choreographer. So here we go. It's going to be so fun. It's really fast. This is fast talking. Here we go. All right. Ready? So November 28th of 2010, I buy a full price ticket to see the first preview of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, opening December 21st on Broadway. I don't normally go to first previews. I prefer to give shows time to gel, but there'd already been 2 years of press, and it was Julie Taymor, and I had to go. So the show stops 5 times, and there's no last scene yet. When the show is finished 4 hours later, there are already tweets, posts, negativity all around the Broadway community. And yet, I experienced 10 moments that night that truly changed and enlarged my idea of what could happen in a theater. Unfortunately, technical issues persisted, and there are several serious injuries. March 8th, The Times reports that producers will delay opening for 3 months, replace Julie Taymor, and rework the show. In response to this news and in defense of the artist, I write an angry Facebook post actually saying, what hacks are they going to bring in to fix the show? Me. So my phone rings 10 days later, and it's Phil McKinley, who's been announced as the guy taking over the show. I've previously had 2 interviews with him. We've never done a show together. I say, hi, Phil, and he says in response, can you see the show tonight? I arrive in my seat terrified, and then amazingly, I take out my notebook, and a kind of calm comes over me. I realize this is what I do. I know how to do this. Maybe I can help. Armed with a mission, I watch the show differently, which doesn't negate my initial admiration for it, but changes the angle I'm viewing it from. By the end of the show, I found a pattern, which is that there are sort of 5 major problems I've identified with the movement and the choreography. When I step back into the lobby, Phil says, talk. As we make our way to Westway Diner, I lay out the 5 categories, then I go through the whole show in terms of notes, and he says, you're the choice, can you start in the morning? I rush up 9th Avenue, call my husband, my parents, and the longtime associate I have on standby. I don't sleep that night. I write emails to people for other projects that I was going to be doing and get out of those. It's worth pointing out that the media coverage was absolutely insane on this show, like so beyond what would ever happen. There I am in the International Herald Tribune with Kate Winslet, Helena Bonham Carter, and Meryl Streep, and saying, okay, wild. Phil has communicated a requirement from the producers. There's to be no experimenting with the actual cast. They are exhausted, depleted, injured, and they're finished experimenting. So I say, well, then the producers have to hire a full-size replica cast that I can use to make the show. So they said yes. I start the next morning. My associate and I make Starbucks our office. We have notes going everywhere. There's emails coming in, texts. We're like flying by the seat of our pants. We haven't even read the new script yet. The script's not even finished being written yet, actually. Through this tag team phone calls, we assemble a top-notch skeleton crew of trusted dancers. They come in. We can't even tell them what project they're hired for. We're working in an upstairs studio above the theater while the full cast is doing the actual show. One by one, I go through every number in the show, and we basically put together proposals for these numbers, which we present to the writers, the stage manager, and everyone. We use iPhones to record stuff. We use Final Cut to do rough proposals of numbers. We use an app called StageRight so that we can basically chart out the entire production to see if it can even be teched in the amount of tech time that we have left. Near the end of my first week, I'm finally introduced to the cast and crew in a meeting in the theater seats just minutes before the evening performance. In the brief speech I give the 350 artists assembled, I have multiple objectives: introducing myself, convincing them that I deserve to be there, laying out a plan, mentioning my respect for my predecessors' work, assuring them we have their safety in mind, making sure that the door to my office is always open. Over the next 3 weeks, we have 9 rehearsals with the company to teach them the whole show. They then shut down. That's while they're doing the first version. They shut down. We have 1 week of run-throughs in the studio. We then have 2 weeks of tech while we're all in the theater with the designers and the crew putting it together. Suddenly, we get to the first preview, and miraculously, it happens. It happens on time, on schedule. It does not stop, which is a triumph. The total Spider-Man preview period is by far the longest in Broadway history at 182 previews instead of the usual 32 previews. During the final 4 weeks of previews, we make a number of cuts and changes. We reconceive, restage, rechoreograph, and redesign the Act 2 opening number just before the press is invited. We lock down the show literally the day before the press comes. You can sort of get a sense that the show is truly one of the most visually stunning and certainly technically demanding shows in history, and I want to give a shout out to the stage management department of Seven. Truly, their work and the work of our amazing crew is integrated with the work of our creative team in a way that I've never seen on a show before, and I think is a key element in the show's success. The opening night curtain call, wow. Talk about full circle. I was sitting in the audience buying a full price ticket, and suddenly I'm on stage with Bono, The Edge, and Julie Taymor bowing at the end of opening night. Opening night goes off without a hitch, except we start a little late because Bono's arrival with President Clinton was delayed. It was truly triumphant. We went on to TV segments with the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade and a performance on Letterman. We did an original cast album produced by Steve Lillywhite. We are the first Broadway show to release our own iPhone app. We're one of the first Broadway shows to give an autism-friendly performance, which we did twice due to popular demand. And this is a shot I took from the stage after the curtain call of the final performance on January 4th of this year. All told, we had a 3-year run on Broadway, which was unthinkable back in the beginning in previews. And more than anything else, I think the story can be told of our success can be told by our wonderful audiences who came from all over the world for 3 years to enjoy our show. We broke the world record for the highest single-week attendance in history. We broke the world record for fastest show to reach 1 million audience members, and we remain the 16th highest grossing show of all time. There's a lot to be proud of, but I think that truly the teamwork between the producers, the artists, the technicians, stage management, everyone who worked on it, and of course the fans was our highest achievement and what saved Spider-Man.
Awesome. Chase Brock, ladies and gentlemen.